Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers. Today I want to talk about a topic that I think is really important for a lot of people out there, for all of us: choices. It's an interesting thing because today I was editing something and then I decided to post something. It was really random, it was not my usual posting when I'm dedicated to posting, but I just suddenly thought I'll post something about choices. And then was like, instantly I thought about this photo that I have of this dwarf, it's this tiny little mountain village, and he's like standing there, at a crossroads of these two little roads. And I was writing about sometimes, we're having two or more choices, multiple choices, and we just have to make a decision. And sometimes we're confused because we don't know which way to go. There's so many choices, and we think that, maybe somewhere along the line we're going to be able to make some sort of wrong choice or something. And I was writing about this, that there is no such thing as a wrong choice. And my last Skype session, love session with a divine companion, was also about choices and a lot of guilt that is having to do with old energy. Sometimes in the past a lot of people did things that they say, I disappointed myself, I wasn't really aligned with myself here, and I've hurt my soul. And there's this correction I have to make for everyone who still thinks this way. They say, I need to heal my soul, but basically we're not healing the soul. We're not trying to make the soul understand, because the soul already does understand. The soul is already whole. The soul already has that knowledge. The soul has compassion. The soul already knows that the healing that is taking place is the embodiment of the soul. So it's about the embodiment of the soul that we're adjusting. And we're, matching our lives with our soul frequency, with our soul signature. And the same goes with choice. Our soul knows that we can never choose wrongly. We can choose unwisely, of course. We can be immature sometimes, and do things, but we learn through these experiences. We grow. We really mature into these beings that we really are. We're like remembering each time a bit more of who we truly are, and then we're integrating that awareness. So about these choices, there was this really interesting synchronicity, because the moment I posted that, I went to my inbox in my Gmail, and instantly I thought, oh, I have a few newsletters I didn't yet click, I didn't yet read. And I just randomly clicked on this newsletter. I didn't even see the title, and it was like, you're finally making choices. The energy of July is going to help us make the decisions. It's going to help us with our choices and our life path. And I'm thinking, wow, this was a really interesting synchronicity, because just in the morning I received a card, oracle guidance about signs and trusting signs and recognizing them. And I'm thinking, if this isn't a sign, so what got me to write about this and pick an image of an elf, it's like this tiny dwarf being standing in the middle of in the middle of crossroads with two roads. Ouch. There's always these twigs, when I'm out in nature messing with my hair. So yeah, choices. to unplug the twig or not. Anyway, the thing is that it was not some random thing. Sometimes we say, oh, we do these random things, and nothing is really random. It was definitely something disturbed me. This presence inside of me, this awareness disturbed me to write this in the middle of doing something totally else, and I wanted to go outside before, and later I didn't. But how it turned out to be was, the moment I wrote this, I opened a newsletter which had the exact same writing, and it was about July and making choices. And just yesterday I made a video about the Mercury being retrograde is not a reason for us not to make some choices in our lives. The retrograding energy is actually giving us the time and space that maybe before we didn't take for ourselves, that we can make those decisions, that we can go deeper with it. So a lot of the people, what I'm noticing is why they're asking me so many questions and why they're seeking advice instead of guidance is because they don't allow them to choose whatever they feel in that moment, even if it turns out to be wrong, which is really not, because the universe is not dualistic in nature. It's a benevolent force. It's not, wrong or right or good or bad. That's duality consciousness. It's a perception that makes it so. And this perception has been built in humanity for so long, and that's why people who are starting to empower themselves, the first thing they will have to deal with is making some choices. Because remember, many times, if you've been following me before, and remember what I've been saying about this is, And then when we're becoming self-empowered and when we're embodying ascension energies, first we make the conscious choice, we put energy there, we put the intent, and then we have to stand behind this intent, so walking our talk. And then all the guidance, all the information will come. But a lot of us are still saying, okay, I need guidance. I need clear guidance, angels or guides or whatever, that I'm on this right path. Show me via signs. Show me, just yesterday my friend said to me, oh, I want angels to show me whether this person is lying to me. And I said, you already feel this. If you're already asking yourself if that person's not honest, then you're already feeling something. You're already feeling some sort of discordant energy. But we just have forgotten how to totally trust this feeling. It is so natural to us. This benevolent force inside of us is getting stronger and stronger. With the ascension frequencies, it's almost like it's the only voice that's still inside of our head. And remember how to discern when you're making those choices, the voice of the mind and the intellect and the voice of the soul. Let me give you one example. Typical example, which I'm in the energy which I'm in now, which is moving, and you're finding a place for yourself. And you might find this place and you want to go to that destination because it's about the energy of the place and you want to be at that location, but the apartments or houses or whatever selling there might be too expensive. And you will say to yourself, okay, the voice of the mind goes, okay, this place is too expensive for me. It should be more grounded and affordable if I maybe look at the other directions. When your soul will just say, pick a direction which you want, and then trust that divine guidance, the divine flow of energies is working for you and behind the scenes for your highest good and favor, for your highest soul potential, basically. And you have to trust it. Maybe it won't be at the exact time that you want, because if you hurry with your decisions, remember, it's not about as much time your decisions are taking you. It's about how much you're empowered within them, how much power you're constantly driving from within, how you're walking through your life and soul embodiment. And if you will be really forcing yourself going into something that really isn't aligning with your soul frequency, there will be a lesson there for you. Either it will show you, look, you can get better. For example, you're already going that direction and something clears up in this direction and you still have a chance to choose otherwise. Or you will get a lesson by teaching you to love yourself more, meaning trust your heart, what it's saying, trust what it's beating for, trust the frequency that it's communicating with you through all life. There are signs everywhere. You just got to really be observant to hear them, to reason with them, not through the mind, but through your own higher understanding. So it's not about the length that this decision will take. It's not about someone saying, okay, the period that is really bad for making decisions right now, it's like 1 month when Mercury is retrograde. But it's really not like that. It's like when something matures inside of you, there's this crystal clear knowing that you just know. Like one of my friends said to me recently, maybe you have had a feeling that something is really building up and it goes slowly. But when this timing is right, have you ever experienced this? That something just like a button would be pressed and all of the things would start falling into place. This is how it usually goes, because we're building, like burning fire or bringing wood to the fire, and all of a sudden the fire really lights up. And it's, when you're making a fire out there, if you have ever been camping, it's just, it just happens. Sorry about the sound that I make, I can't really impersonate fire, right? Okay, so it really will be like all the pieces of the puzzles have added up. If there's even one piece missing, it means that, maybe it's not the right thing yet. Maybe you still have to wait for the highest option. Because I remember when we were sitting with the real estate agent one day, and she said to us, well, you really can't have it all, can you? You have to make some sacrifices or some decisions. And I'm thinking, no, I won't go from A to B, going from middle to worse. I want to go to better, because we keep shifting to better, more expanded, That's how it is. If not, then no change. Then you wait for the change to come in your own time and space. But don't let anyone ever tell you, because this is coming from a dualistic, fear-based, limitation-based, pattern-based, you name it, kind of consciousness that's really not conscious at all. So don't let other people tell you. If they say you don't have enough money, or you're not being rational enough here, you're not being grounded enough. Being grounded, like I said, is checking your facts, but also remaining in that higher presence, merging the higher beliefs and your dreams with the, not the beliefs of the mind, but with your grounded sense of how you bring that into action step by step. It's not saying, oh, I will switch my high ideals for something lower. It's the merging, it's the middle path that we're really creating on this new earth, aren't we? So when you are taking risks, and I've been getting this message a lot, sometimes making choices will require us making some risks. It will be challenging, but if the energy feels right, just feels right, and maybe your mind is trying to rationalize it, it will just be right, and you'll have to do the steps. But if something feels like it's still off, and it's not really adding up, but maybe you're forcing yourself, oh, I gotta make the change now, I gotta make the change now, I gotta make the decision now, and you're feeling yourself forced, but it's not time, because no matter what, you shouldn't be making any decisions out of forcing yourself. You know, we had this person that really wanted us to buy her place because she's in debt and she has the situation that I mentioned to all of you guys before. And the place isn't really worth as much because it doesn't have everything, you know, implemented the way it should, you know, like central heating and stuff like that. And she's saying, well, we have that much debt and we have this much loan and this has to be this and that. And she that kind of person can become attached to you, and they can do like, make a choice. Tell me, I need to know. Will you be the one who will save me? Will you be my savior? Or something else. It might be someone in your family or whatever. You might have a friend that's really dear to you and you feel you owe them something. But remember, we're not really helping anyone if we're saving them from the situation they've got themselves into. They're really not learning anything if we're doing that. So making choices is all about being really, you know, in our higher ideals, but knowing how to ground them. That doesn't mean rationalize them and saying, no, I'll give up on my higher dreams. No, just feel the way, what is your highest vision for the now? Maybe, like I said in my blog about this, it's called Creating My Reality. You can check it out on my blog spot. And I mentioned about this, that it's having to do with you maybe seeing what's right for you now. In this time and space, maybe the higher ideal is still coming, you know, along the way. Maybe this is the bouncing step for the higher ideal, which is coming. Don't exchange them for something else. Don't ever compromise. It's really not good for you. You need to listen to your soul. But don't always think this higher vision has to be right here now, because there are steps to it. Like in relationships, sometimes we've been saying, I want the one, I want the one. And someone came, maybe you thought it was the one, and you went all in. You know, taking risks means you go all in, like in poker. And I did this in every relationship. And it means to love with a pure heart, no matter what the external circumstances or the mind is trying to tell you. You're like a child, you're pure. You go into it if it feels right in that moment. Maybe it won't later. That's not important. What is important is the now. So we have always decided for these relationships because maybe that was the stepping stone that brought us to the next one and to the next one. And we might have been saying to the universe, but this is not what I wanted. But this is not what well, you needed it. Because without A, you wouldn't get to the B, and without the B, you wouldn't get to the C. No, because it's like a round kind of route. It's not a linear line. You get from A to B, and that's it. There's many letters in alphabet. And that's just English. You know, there's a lot of language. In other languages, there's a lot of other letters. So it's really infinite. It's how you make it to be. So don't compromise your decisions. Be grounded, but also be in your higher ideals. Embrace them. Don't chase them away like I'm chasing these mosquitoes. You know, just be really loving yourself, which means take the choices that you can embrace in this now moment. Don't take the bigger ones if they still seem too big. Know that everything is about a circular route, which is actually a spiral. And this is what makes everything interesting anyway. Don't fear making choices because of some bad ones you think you have convinced yourself you have done. You haven't. You got to forgive your soul, you know, for choosing these things for you, because it is for the, you know, expansion of soul. We always say, oh, I hope my soul will forgive me. Your soul doesn't need to forgive you because your soul has chosen these things and these experiences. You need to forgive yourself. So your higher presence, and you need to embrace it and say, okay, I get it. It's all for my higher benefits. It's all for this greater good. I get it now. And you need to finally make peace with that. Because otherwise you'll still continue to make choices from this guilt place, which will just create running away from your ideals and creating something that is not of that space. So don't be afraid. Embrace all the choices you've made in the past, even those that make you feel ashamed, but then drop that. It's not you. It's not who you are. You are pure divine love. So I hope this video made any sense and helped you on your journey. I first didn't even know what I'm going to talk about, and then I started running, you know. Yeah, I know lately I'm wearing all the same clothes in my videos because I always record them after my run. And I was running, and it was choice. You need to talk about choices. I'm like, oh, okay, I trust it, because it just plunged into it. I didn't know. I just knew I had to grab my camera at the last second of this, you know, before I head out of my home. So guys, take care. Lots of wise choices. This retrograde period is amazing for us to really take the time for the things we were working so in alignment with for our highest benefits, for our greater good. And enjoy this time as well. Don't forget, nurture yourself. All your choices will be better when you take the time for this, you know. You let something go maybe, and then you don't think about, oh, how is it going to happen? This is your monkey mind. Because then you say, I let go and let God, like, you know, there's this saying. And then you don't. If you're still thinking about it, how are you going to resolve it? Your human mind sometimes can't comprehend how it's going to resolve when all the other pieces of the puzzle will come along as well. When you really let it go, you really let it go. You know, that's what it means. Like, let it go. Completely. So take care. Lots of magical moments, and I'll talk to you soon. Lots of love. Bye.